Hello, it's Teresa here with Junk Collector Junkie. I know you guys are probably falling off your chairs. 3 days in a row I'm doing a live. I'm trying to get some things up on my YouTube since Facebook has a tendency to delete lives after 30 days. So we're trying to get some things up on our YouTube. Okay, so today Matt cut me out some smaller trees of the wallpaper trees that we did last year. I don't know if this is going to all fit in the picture. This is a wallpaper tree we did last year. Have a stand. These sold really well. This one has the script on it, but we also did the music stamp. Both of them are IOD stamps. So we're going to do a miniature this similar. And basically, some of the steps that I did for the whole thing, I'm not going to actually show you because they're steps that are normal if you're doing what I'm doing, and it's easy to figure out. I will show you some stuff that's not totally like painted or anything, but like what we have here is these trees. I think I'm going to have to sand this one a little bit. This is wallpaper unpainted, and this is a plywood tree that he cut out, and we're going to put it on a stand like this. That's probably crooked, but and then of course we will staple this to the tree so it stands on its own. And it'll have some decorations on it. This is one of the wallpapers I got off Amazon. I can't remember what the name of it is. But I also have gotten some wallpaper from Lowe's. That's the textured. It's got like a tin ceiling look to it. That one is real popular. I sell a lot of that. So basically the pieces that I have, and I will be getting kits for these on my Etsy. I will try to get that done. I'm going to have to cut some more pieces to take pictures of to get the kits on my Etsy, but I am going to try to get the kits on my Etsy. So, so what I have is we have the chunk base. I have a backing piece, and then what I do is I put a piece in the front so that my tree just sits right on it, and that makes it a lot easier to glue to my tree and to be able to get it, like centered and everything. So it's got something to sit on. So that's my base. And then of course I showed you the tree already. And then we're going to do similar to what that is, maybe not quite as elaborate because these are small. And then we're going to do a stamp on it. You don't have to do a stamp. You don't have to do wallpaper. You could paint it and do some stuff on it. You could decoupage music. I'll probably do some with decoupage music on it. And then maybe I ordered some more of my nativities, and so I'll probably maybe I'll put the nativity on the front. Maybe do decoupage Oh Holy Night somewhere on it. All kinds of stuff you could do with these trees. But basically what I'm doing, I'm going to show you what I did and give you a basis of what this is. Yeah, my glue. So what I do for my tree is I put the glue on my wood part, and I have my wallpaper laying out, a sheet of it laying out, and then I just lay my glued tree down, and then I'll do another tree the opposite direction, and I'll lay them in a row. That way I can get the most out of it. I do save the scraps because we do other things with wallpaper on them, and sometimes we need some small pieces like eyebrows or mustaches or things like that. And so those pieces work really good for that. So then I glue this, and I just use white glue. You can use Mod Podge if you'd like. I just use white glue. So I glue my wallpaper down, and then I'll cut it out of the sheet. And then I will take some sandpaper and I will sand it off. And then I'll let that, and then I will go ahead. I didn't get to paint my bottom, but I will paint that bottom. And then I'll paint it. If I can get away with one coat, I will. Cream or white, probably need two. Navy, I might need to touch it up, but we'll see. I have a navy one I painted. Navy has been a very popular color, and I think it's going to be even bigger this year, and we're doing it with gold. What I do on my navy one is I'll take my stamp and I will put gold metallic paint on it. I'm sure I probably should look for some metallic stamping paint or stamping ink, but I might have some gold. I'll have to see. But I've been putting metallic paint on mine and then stenciling and then cleaning it off really quick with alcohol. This is one of the music stamps I got. I got this off Amazon, and then this one. See, which way does it go? I think it goes this. Does it go this way? I think it goes this way. My friend Kirsten from Wood Rescuers told me she got hers off Michael's. So when I had an order with Michael's, I ordered this stamp. I haven't decided which one I'm going to use. I may try to use this one and try to line it up. I don't need too much. I wish I had one that was a little bit, because this one's not quite wide enough either. But I use this. This one's good for using on the smaller triangles. So we're going to go that direction. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to stamp my tree. I'm going to stamp my tree first, and I'm not one to usually dawdle too much with, I mean, I do respond to comments, but I don't really dawdle too much. I like to get into my projects, so because I know time is precious, and you know, everybody has things to do. So I also will either paint my stars a metallic color and maybe glitter them, maybe not, depending. Or I can't get rusty stars reasonable. I do have some, but what I have done is I have taken my stars and I have stained them with that Waverly chalk paint, and then I take and I put some black paint down and I will sprinkle it with cinnamon, so it does have a kind of a rust. I don't know, is that focusing? Is that focusing? Wow, my phone is not working right. My phone does not want to necessarily focus very well. I'm not happy with this phone. Anyway, so it has kind of a rusty look. So that's what I'm going to use for my star for the top of my wallpaper tree. So first I'm going to stamp my music stamp. And usually what I do before I even use this, I usually try to seal them. But I didn't get a chance to seal them yet. We have a lot of tomatoes out on our porch, so. So I'm going to stamp on here, and we're going to hope this goes well. And normally I would glue these and nail these all together, but today I will glue them, but it's going to be hot glue, and then I'll go back and I'll nail them later. So I'm going to try. Not much of a stamp on that. Just a second. It was out in the garage, and I think it might have gotten dried out. So I have this refillable ink. This is the archival stamp, and this is the archival ink. Because I think my ink pad dried out, and these are not cheap. They were out in the garage, so, and the garage is hot. All right, we'll see if that works better. That's a little better. We just kind of want a background, so let's see how this goes. All right. I like the IOD stamp. But it's a little big for this, I think. Okay. And this is just basically a background for what we're going to do on it, so it's all stamped. I have a script stamp too I really like to use a lot. But the music stamp was really popular last year for us, so that's what we're going with. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to put my decorations on, and then I will put it on my base. So what I'm going to do is, I already have a bow here. I like to use cheesecloth. We're going to go with this checker. I'm going to add a few things to this. I'm going to add the music fabric. I have some music fabric here I'm going to add to it. And a little bit of tea-dyed lace. And then I have some fabric that I tea-dyed. It's a checkerish fabric. And I wanted to use a little bit of that. It's got the green in it, so that's going to bring that in. So what I'm going to do is, I already have part of this tied, but I'm just going to go ahead and add my music fabric. And I'm going to add my checker fabric. And I'm going to add my lace. And since I already have a tie here, I could go ahead and just retie that. And I'm going to leave my tails hang for now. I'm going to put that about right there, and then I can always clip them off. And we're going to add a bow also. Now, one of the other things that I like to add is, I love this ribbon. I get this at Hobby Lobby. I'm assuming they still carry it. I think it's in the regular ribbon section, or maybe it's in the wedding section, or I can't remember, but it's not Christmas ribbon. It's regular ribbon. It's a weave. It's a jute weave. And for this one, I'm going to cut one of the ends off. Yeah, I think I can get away with that. So, oh yeah, so I gotta do I'm gonna do some greenery. I like this greenery. I like to use it a lot because it's the greenery that Hobby Lobby carries at Christmas time, and it's a nice frosted green. It's very soft looking, so I like it a lot. So we're going to glue 2 pieces here, and I'm going to glue bring this down a little bit. I'm going to glue one piece here. I'm going to get our star in there too, so make sure our star is going to fit there. Yeah, it'll fit. Maybe we'll take a little bit of that off. Okay. And I'm going to glue this here. You got to be careful with this because it's an open weave, so you can burn yourself really easy. So this is where we're at so far with our wallpaper and our stamp. I think I'm going to have to get some new ink because I don't think there's that much, or this didn't go on very well. All right, now I've got my ribbon here, and I'm going to put that down in between those two sections. And I have some red I think I'm going to go with this. Yeah, we'll just go with this. So I'm going to tie myself another bow, a double. Maybe I'll do a triple bow because it's not very big. I'm using baker's twine. This is the red and white, but I did tea dye it. Okay, so I got my bow. I have to decide which way my bow's going to flop. There's my bow. This is where we're at right now. Oops. It's a very simple, quick, what I'll do a lot of times is I'll sit and I'll tie a bunch of bows up. I'll cut a bunch of pieces like fabric and everything like that. And then I'll put it together, a bunch of these bows, and tie them up. And, you know, keep them in a box. And then when I want to go do, because I do bulk crafting pretty much. Like right now, I have, I think I have 80 or 85 snowmen that I did the other day that I'm working on. I have 127 Santas that I did the live on yesterday that I'm working on. So we do a lot of bulk. Okay, so now I'm going to put a little bit of decoration in here. And I like to use, I mean, you can use anything you want. I have some silver, I have gold. Since we're going with the red and the white and kind of that kind of theme, we're going to stick with that. I could put some little candy, peppermint looking things in here too. That would be cute. But I got these little red things that I get at Hobby Lobby. So I'm just going to put a couple of them. These are my wire cutting scissors because they're kind of crappy. They don't really cut fabric, so. And I have to decide I want to do this. That might give it a little bit more interest. Maybe I'll do that. Sounds like Gigi's hungry. That's what she does when she's hungry. All right, so I've got that. I think I'm just gonna, let's see. Got some bells here. I get my bells off of Hobby Lobby. Their bells are getting harder to find. Hobby Lobby is like, last year when I went to get their bells, and I use a lot of their rusty bells, they were like out. And they really weren't doing too much of that. Sorry, I didn't see you guys posting. Hi, Janet. Artistic Treasures by Teresa. Ah, my name's Teresa too. Excellent. Thank you guys for coming in. All right, so I've had a hard time finding the bells. So especially there's a these I think are 3/4 inch. The ones that I was using, I think they're 20 millimeter. I used to get a bunch of those. That's this size here that I use on the trees and a lot of other stuff. I use it on my nativities, all kinds of stuff. So we're doing a miniature of this tree if you've come in late. We sell a lot of this tree, and we do have a kit on our Etsy. And I'll be doing a kit for this particular tree on our Etsy once I get more pieces cut so I can get pictures of them. So I've got that. Let's see, do I want to do a couple of bells here or just one bell maybe? Maybe just one bell. I don't know. I think it needs something else. I think it needs something else. Maybe I need 2 bells here. I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of off. I off-centered the bell. And it's hard to see that there is, my camera does not want to focus. And then my computer keeps timing out on my live. I don't know why. It's not, I don't know what's going on with it. I don't know if you can see too much of the stamp. I think I'm going to have to order some more of this archival ink. I don't know if there's just not a lot in there. I know my ink pad probably dried out in the garage, so I don't know. I kind of like that. I think oh, I know what I forgot. I totally forgot. So if you haven't been with me for very long, I make my own dark wax. I use the Turtle Wax. It's green, but it's a very soft wax. And then I mix apple barrel, burnt umber, and nutmeg in with, and these are, I order shampoo bars from Gallup in Lindale, Texas, and so she sends these in these metal containers, which is nice. And so I mix it until I get the color I want, because I don't like the dark wax they sell. And so that's what I do. You could do what you want to do. You could buy your dark wax if you get it. I just did not like the color, so I mixed my own. And that's what I forgot to put the dark wax on, which is okay because we'll just go on the edges. That's what we were going to do anyway. And sometimes I'll use the dark wax to stain. And I just take I get these at Hobby Lobby. I got these at Walmart. They were $2.97. I believe they've gone up in price, but there's 2 in a pack. There's a round one, and then this is an oval one. And so then I put it on there, and then I just kind of wipe it off on usually a paper towel, but I don't have a paper towel. which is, see, I forgot something again, just normal for me. All right, so now that looks better. So now you can see the shading, hopefully. And I'll go on the back side and shade it too, so it kind of makes it a little more complete. I did paint the back and the sides. I have to paint the underside because I forgot to paint it. Actually, I didn't forget to paint it. I just didn't want to paint the underside and then set it on my table. Okay, so now I'm ready to put my star on. And if you came in late, rusty stars are hard for me to find, so, or they're expensive. Yes, it is much cheaper to, now I don't, you know, some things have gone up. The last time I bought the turtle wax, and it's in a green can, you can get it in the automotive section at Walmart. It was like $5.49 or something, and it makes a lot. And I just put it in a little container and make what I want. I don't use the whole thing. I just take out and put some in here. Then I mix my paint in it until and then of course I'll test it to see that I'm getting the color I want. Then once I get the color I want, then I close it up, and I'll probably make 2 or 3 of these, because when we start getting in the Christmas season, we will be doing a lot. So anyway, if you came in late, I got these stars off Amazon. This is a 2-inch star, and I stained it with the Waverly wax, and then I painted it with black paint, and then while it was still wet, I sprinkled cinnamon on it, so it kind of has a little bit of a rusted look. And what I'm going to do when I put this on here, now I will go through with my I have a 23 gauge nailer gun. What I will do is, once I get this put together, I will go back in with my 23 gauge nailer and put a couple nails in this to hold it in place, because right now we're going to hot glue it. Normally I wouldn't hot glue, but you know, we're on live, so got to do what you got to do. So what I'm going to do is put a little hot glue right here, and I'm going to tilt my star a little bit off center. So it's a little bit wonky. Gives it a little character. So it looks pretty good, actually. And then my base that I use for this, it's a block. And, you know, I mean, and I don't, you know, if you guys, you could get like, okay, so what I do sometimes for my patterns is I will put them or make them in my silhouette program. You might be able to do this in Design Space too, but I have a silhouette. You can download the program free off of Silhouette of America. And then I make like my triangle, and then I will print out a pattern on cardstock or photo paper, something that's got a little rigidity to it, so that I have a good pattern to use. And so, you know, that's what we do. That's what we do for our fabric trees, and then I can pin that to my fabric. Sometimes I'll print it on copy paper, like for a pattern, like for the fabric, just because it's a little easier. So what, I'm gonna have to start wearing my contacts because I can't see. Yeah, I think it's pretty. We sold a bunch of these last year. I mean, a bunch. I had them at 2 shows, and I sold out at the one show, and then the show we did Thanksgiving weekend last year, I sold all but this one on Friday. And for some reason this color, which is, I love this color. So I think I'm going to paint the star. This star is a champagne gold, so it's kind of dull. I think I'm going to paint it a gold and maybe antique the edges with the shading, and then it'll probably sell. And this is the script, but I also have the music stamp, which both come from IOD, and I love those stamps. They are so wonderful. So now I have my base, and we'll have these on our Etsy in a kit. I just have to get the unfinished pieces put together and post it, measurements, all that. So I took, and I have, this is a 1-inch by 5-inch piece of wood on the back, and then this is a 2-inch by 1-inch piece of wood on the front if you want to make your own. And then the block I have different sizes of blocks. This one here is about, and it's out of 2x wood. You could do it out of a 1x wood. You could do it out of plywood. This is about a 2" by 2 3/4. And this is, like I said, this is a 2x piece, but you can do it out of anything if you want to do your own. Because, you know, I know people cut their own stuff. So what I did is I glued, I actually stapled from the back the pieces, these two pieces together, and then I glued these down, and then on the underside I went through with my nail gun and gave it a couple nails. Looks like I might need to pound those in. Usually I will use my pneumatic nailer, but I was inside, and so I have this battery operated one, which I'm not a huge fan of. So then I stained it. You can paint it. When I do my navy ones, I will paint the bases probably gold, because navy and gold sold so well for me last year. So I will probably paint the base gold metallic, and I will do gold metallic paint on my IOD stamp for the bigger ones, and I'll probably do it on this stamp too, and stamp on my pieces with the metallic paint, and then clean it off real quick with alcohol. So so that's what I did to put these together. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to glue these with hot glue, but then I will go back in with my nail gun once I put smaller nails in it, and I will nail this to the back. So I got to make sure that it is, so I'm going to use this other one to help me be a little bit more, I don't think that's going to work. Well, we'll figure it out. I can use this. Yeah, that's better. So I'm going to try to find my center. So this is about 5 3/8. And my piece here is about 1 inch. So I want to make sure I'm pretty much as centered as I can. So we're at 2 1/8 and 2 1/8. Excellent. So now I got to figure out how I can lift that up and glue that down. You don't have much time to move it. Then I'll go back in with my nail gun in a little while, and I will nail that up. Yeah, I'm going to have to nail that up because that is not going to hold very well. I just have too long of a nails in my gun right now. So, there it is. And these are pretty simple. I mean, you know, they're pretty simple to make. Wallpaper, the wallpaper background really gives it more texture. You could do a textured paint background. You could do a pattern background that's not textured. You could do music background. Music is very popular, as I said earlier. You could do, I'm going to do probably, maybe try to do some with a music background and a laser cut nativity down here, and then maybe do Oh Holy Night music or something. So that's what I got today. I'm trying to get some lives done so I can put them on my YouTube. So I don't know if I'll have one tomorrow. Tomorrow's Sunday. Yeah, I'm not sure what we're going to do tomorrow. I've got, but Christmas is my favorite, and so that's kind of where I'm at. This one needs to be sanded. And as a crafter, if you're a crafter and you do craft shows and things like that, you know that we have to start working. I should have been working on my Christmas 2 months ago. So, at least that's how I've always done it. I've always worked May, June, and started my Christmas stuff, and then gone from there. So, I appreciate you guys stopping in, and you know, you can always message me if you have any questions. And like I said, when I get this kit posted, I will post it on my Facebook page with a link in the comments to my Etsy. All right, so there you go. Thank you. You guys have a good weekend, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.